So these are pretty big numbers for Coinbase, aren't they?
Exactly. Investors like profitability, although we know they're a little afraid of the Bitcoin volatility. But the profitability is significant. It's more than double, Emily, what it earned in all of 2020. That just shows how far the crypto boom can take you. And in terms of revenue, in the first 3 months of the year, it surpassed all of what it brought in revenue in all of last year. And as we know, pandemic year, a lot of people stayed home trading crypto. So the numbers at first glance are very good walking into next week, but the thing is they did not give a forecast.
Right, they didn't give revenue targets. Is that a problem, along with all of the skepticism and regulatory scrutiny that's surely ahead?
Yeah, exactly. Those things are hard to ignore, right? I mean, the thing about the regulatory scrutiny is we knew that some of that was there. The question is, how much does that ramp up into the Gary Gensler era? It's kind of an unknown. Some think he'll be friendly towards crypto. Others have noticed he's really pointed out the exchanges in particular as an area of concern. Another risk factor, right, and a different way to think about Coinbase's listing, they think about it in terms of price cycles rather than just quarters. So even they say don't really worry about 3 months, think about the cycles that crypto goes through, and they've been through 4 major cycles already. Question is, where are we in this cycle?
Well, exactly. Let's talk about major cycles. The crypto market surpassing $2 trillion for the first time. Bitcoin worth $1 trillion. The entire market doubling in just 2 months. So how fast is a cycle?
Yeah, it's incredible because you can also see it plateauing just a little bit in more recent days and weeks, even though you've seen major news over the last week. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, major firms, Visa, PayPal, more news of major firms really embracing this in bigger ways. So what is the marginal value as companies start to pour into this market in a bigger way? Separately, what about the other cryptos, right? Are some of them in bubble territory, and where do they go from here? These are all real questions. I posed that plateauing issue to Mike Novogratz a little earlier today of Galaxy Digital, and he made the point that you had made just now that, it's still doubled this year. So, is it where it should be? Well, what does that do for trading? The trading in the first 3 months of the year that has really fueled a lot of this Coinbase revenue that we're seeing.
Absolutely. We're going to hear more from your interview with Mike Novogratz later this hour. That said, when it comes to the Coinbase direct listing next week, what are you watching? What are you hearing from investors about how excited they are? Yes, Coinbase is making a lot of money, but yes, this is an unproven market and we don't know where it's going.
Yeah, and the other thing about it too is you and I spoke to the CEO of Kraken last week. They're not the only game in town, right? Do you put money towards Coinbase as it's going public at this very high valuation, or do you invest in something else, right? These are real question marks right now. We will see how next week works. It's a direct listing, Emily. That's the other thing that's exciting about this listing. It's the first real one on the NASDAQ. It's the first major technology listing on the NASDAQ. As a direct listing, I went down as, just a matter of love of the game to look at how much they were paying for this IPO. They said they were paying about $35 million worth of one-time expenses tied to this direct listing. That's not so bad. Will it convince more people to use the model? See how next week goes.